Over the past 9 months, we have interviewed some of the leading voices in the education space. In this time, our campaign has grown from just an idea to a full white paper that was presented to 10 Downing Street. This is what the many leading voices said, and why they think it is imperative that the education system changes before it's too late. Across over 5 hours of interviews, we found a common talking point about the failings of the school system. It's outdated.
I used to do something called Dream Schools. It had a little kind of narrative of photographs, and it had the Victorian schoolroom. They had all these little faces sitting in a row behind desks, teacher up front, whatever colour board it was. Cut to the 1970s when I was at school. Whole room full of kids all sitting behind desks in rows, teacher with one of those revolving blackboard things. Cut to 2024, it still looks the same. And it's just bonkers, isn't it?
Education needs to catch up. Otherwise, children are not going to cope. And I think, again, that's why we're having a lot of mental health issues, because children are not coping. Things have to change drastically to keep up with our times, our world, and what you all have got to deal with.
But now it's all going to change slightly, because somebody who wants to go into do around, say, architecture, it's going to be radically different how they do that. The way the curriculum and professionals are saying at the moment, of course, is that, we've had this Victorian model of knowledge. Hopefully you get some understanding. Hopefully you understand the concepts. You get creative. It's going to have to change slightly.
It was clear that our guests thought the system needed to change. So we asked them to suggest one change they'd make to the PSHE curriculum.
Making sure children are safe online. We don't educate enough around that. You have your maths lessons, your English lessons and so on, but we need to do more around online safety and making sure you're all safe.
If we can teach children how to manage themselves and manage their emotions, then they learn better, they get on better in school, things probably work better at home for them. So that's, for me, is absolutely crucial.
I would like them to have a really good sense of empathy. Not only what it means, but what that looks like. I think that if we can understand what that means as children and we can show that as adults, that I think the world would be a much better place.
But it wasn't just the experts who felt the system needed to change. We took our campaign to the streets to ask the public what they wish they'd been taught at school.
Probably how to set up a bank account, that kind of thing, how to buy a house, how to get a loan from banks, what you need to get a loan.
Probably it would be to do with money and banks. And funnily enough, my daughter says the same thing. When you're at school, you're in a maths lesson, and both of us are very high achieving when it comes to maths. However, neither of us have got a clue about bank accounts. And she's sort of challenged her teacher about it and said, but why are you teaching me about fractions and percentages and decimals and all of this? But I don't know how to open a bank account.
Well, I grew up, I'm older than I look. So when I was at school, the idea of being gay or anything other than sort of the norm was completely just not something that was part of your experience at school at all. So it was very isolating, and I hope it's changed a lot now. But we just need to be really encouraging of all our young people to be who they are, basically, and that needs to be probably the essence of education, I would say. Just encouraging people to be the best of themselves, whatever that looks like, really.
So we can all agree that change is needed. But what does that look like? At Lessons for Life, we are campaigning on 4 key recommendations. Consolidate multiple overlapping policies into one cohesive policy that simplifies and strengthens personal development delivery in schools. Introduce a national personal development measurement framework to assess and track pupils' progress. Invest in high-quality training for teachers and school staff to deliver effective personal development education. Secure dedicated funding to provide long-term resources and support for schools. We asked our guests why they found the Lessons for Life recommendations important. Here's what they had to say.
I think Lessons for Life campaign is of the utmost importance because things have changed so much for children. Over the last 20 years, life has changed. The internet has taken over. The kids have got so much more to deal with.
Lessons for Life is something that's going to be very important, especially as the world for you is going to change. You're not going to need to know all the little knowledgey bits. You're going to have artificial intelligence that's going to help you. So you've really got to have more about your body understanding and how to connect with people.
It encompasses everything that we do in school and everything that we want for the children that we teach. You know, really placing high importance on children's social, emotional, and mental well-being. And I think that's ingrained in everything we do in school and is interwoven into every subject as well.
In my role particularly, I work first-hand with teachers, so I get to see the real effects of the reduced funding, not enough hours in the timetable to support personal development. So there's loads of aspects that I see in my role that has a knock-on effect for future generations like yourself.
I think Lessons for Life is incredibly important. In fact, when I read it a few weeks ago, it's one of the most important things I've ever read, because I think it's very interesting when you see things in print. It really makes you understand them better, and it's better than these are all prints of actual studies and statistics, which are important because lots of people can have an opinion, but this is more like a studied fact of things. And I think it shows you as well just how much help is needed out there and how many people may be struggling, maybe having a bad time. We don't want them to. So I think Lessons for Life is a fantastic thing.
As children grow up, they need to learn lots of things about the world and about themselves in order to be happy, healthy, confident, successful adults. And I think if you're developing those during the school curriculum and the school day, you're able to give children the opportunities to develop those skills naturally in an age-appropriate way.
So, what's next? We took our campaign to Downing Street to personally deliver our recommendations to Number 10. We also heard from the most inspiring and passionate people working across the country to protect the youth. This is just the beginning, and there is still a lot of hard work to be done. The white paper and our petition are in the description if you want to be more involved. On this channel, we are not slowing down. We will continue to interview the leading voices in the industry, and we will continue to fight for change.